This is News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Live at 4. We begin with breaking news. The mother of Elijah Vu and her boyfriend are officially charged in connection to the child's death.
Katrina Bauer is charged with chronic child neglect ending in death, child neglect, and obstructing an officer. Her boyfriend is charged with physical abuse of a child, repeating acts causing death, hiding a corpse, and obstructing an officer. Vang reported Elijah missing from Manitowoc County back in February. In September, a man preparing his land for hunting season found Elijah's remains. Now it's not clear when Vang and Bauer will be back in court.
An update now to a case we've been following for more than a year. The man charged with sexually assaulting and nearly beating a UW student to death has pleaded guilty. Brandon Thompson pleaded guilty in Dane County Court to 3 charges today after previously pleading not guilty. Those charges are first-degree sexual assault, first-degree reckless injury, strangulation, and suffocation. The assault happened on September 3rd, 2023, and police arrested Thompson days later. He's been in jail ever since with a $1 million bond. He'll be sentenced on February 6th. News 3 Now has been providing updates to both of these stories ever since those cases began. You can find our past coverage of these stories and receive new information directly to your phone as soon as we have it with the free Channel 3000 mobile app.
You are now taking a live look at Vice President Kamala Harris in La Crosse at UWL. She just took the stage.
And we have our reporter Will Keneally there live right now. We will check in with him in a little bit. She is just beginning her speech, and she and other candidates have become familiar faces here in Wisconsin.
Absolutely. I believe this is her 6th visit to Wisconsin. And she was in Milwaukee earlier today, headed to Green Bay, I believe.
And with less than 3 weeks to go until the big day, I assume we'll be seeing more of both sides.
I'm sure. We will check back in with Will in just a bit. To a big story internationally, the man referred to as the mastermind of Hamas's October 7th attacks on Israel is dead. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed the terrorist group's leader, Yahya Sinwar, died after a strike from an Israeli tank in Gaza. Netanyahu says Sinwar's death is, quote, the beginning of the day after Hamas. The confirmation of Sinwar's death came while Harris was in Milwaukee today. While there, she briefly spoke about it. Take a listen.
Justice has been served. And the United States, Israel, and the entire world are better off as a result. He had American blood on his hands. Today, I can only hope that the families of the victims of Hamas feel a sense and measure of relief.
This wasn't the only strike Israel carried out today. A strike on a school in a refugee camp killed more than a dozen Palestinians, including children. This strike was separate from the one that killed Sinwar. Still, American officials say the U.S. will redouble its efforts to end the war in Gaza.
Let's get a first look at your first warn forecast. Meteorologist Blaze Keller is outside on the patio. Blaze, how's it looking out there?
It's not too bad, a little bit breezy at times, but plenty of sunshine and very comfortable for this time, not only in the day, but for this time of year as well. We're going to continue to see those clear conditions out there as we go throughout the rest of your evening. So that's going to make for another night to catch that very rare comet if you haven't done so already. Again, look south and west, find Venus, and then just look off towards the top and right, and you should be able to see that comet. It's 64 right now in Madison, and if we want to switch over to Max 1, I don't believe that this is Max 1. We are going to continue to see those clear conditions as we go throughout the rest of this evening. We're looking at the low 40s overnight, maybe some patchy frost, but overall quiet conditions here. We're not anticipating really much frost chances, at least through the weekend, as we're going to stay well above average. 70s, not only Saturday and Sunday. We're taking a look at your weekend. Plenty of sunshine. Could even see a few 80s there to end the weekend. We are tracking some much needed rain in the forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Blaze. Well, tonight you can celebrate Madison's unique culture at the Madison Night Market for the last time this season. Just go to State and Gilman Streets for local art, artisan gifts, pre-packaged foods, and fresh produce. And of course, there will be live music, artists, food carts, and pop-up restaurant experiences. This month's market is special. It's a partnership with the Wisconsin Science Festival's Science on the Square event. And the market kicks off at 5 o'clock and ends at 9.
A UW-Madison fraternity is raising money to support veterans and military members. Every year, Fiji does a rivalry run for the United Service Organizations. Through the night of October 25th, a group of 25 fraternity brothers will do a relay-style run of more than 100 miles from Chicago to Camp Randall. It's all ahead of the Badgers game against Penn State. We spoke to some of Fiji's members earlier today about why this mission matters to them.
We have the morals that are taken care of by this chapter. Two of our morals are service and morality, which is directly related to what we do here. So it's a lot of fun. It's something I really am glad I did.
You can help the fraternity by donating to their GoFundMe. It's Donate to USO Fiji Chapter Relay from Chicago to Madison.
This weekend, you can be a part of the fight against ALS, a deadly neurological disease that affects people's ability to control their body. The ALS Association is hosting the Walk to Defeat ALS, a 1-mile march raising money for finding a treatment and ultimately a cure to the disease.
I'm wearing a Team Kelly shirt because my dad passed away in November of 2020 from ALS. He lived with it for 4 years. I personally don't want any partners to lose their partners, daughters to lose their dads, friends to lose friends and things like that.
The event is this Sunday. Check-in is at 8:30 in the morning and the walk begins at 10. It's at McKee Farms Park on Chapel Valley Road in Fitchburg. And you don't have to register. You can just show up the day of. The event still needs volunteers though. To sign up for that, just go to Madison Walk to Defeat ALS webpage to volunteer.
Well, Edgewood High School is celebrating another state win for its girls golf team.
Our Tanisha Shaw sat down with the players after their big win.
Edgewood High School is celebrating another state win.
So I was just kind of like, wait, really? Like, I was just like, it was just like not like sinking in quite yet. And it didn't really sink in until like we were like holding the trophy.
The girls also told me that they weren't sure if they would be able to secure this trophy walking into day 2.
We were 14 strokes down after Monday, so we needed a good comeback going into Tuesday. And we didn't know if it would be possible, but we are definitely excited and hoping for the win.
Georgia Collum is a senior and team captain. Going into day 2, she had to lead by example and have confidence.
But I was a little bit nervous. I needed to show my teammates that I was confident so they would be confident in themselves and so they would also know that we could do it.
Her teammates also knew a lot was at stake.
The second day when I realized we were down by 14 strokes, I kind of knew that I'm going to play my game, and no matter what, I put my golf out there and did what I could to help my teammates.
Tonight at 5, hear from players about the wild card that players weren't expecting. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Tanisha. You could say they are formidable golfers.
Okay.
And that's enough of that. Well, let's move on. Congratulations to them in all seriousness. Well, still ahead, whether or not mortgage rates are up.
Plus, what a scathing report from former Homeland Security officials says about the Secret Service's handling of the attempt on Donald Trump's life.
Discover a level of comfort you never thought possible. Discover stressless seating at the Century House. Designed to harmonize with your body's natural movements, it's the premier destination for relaxation and rejuvenation. Right now, take 10% off all stressless recliners, sofas, tables, and ottomans. The Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. Something sinister is lurking in the shadows.
What was that?
To survive, they must seal their fate.
It's not working.
With Feldco.
50% off windows ends soon. Come now.
This fall, watch out for The Draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Don't mind me. I'm just the flu. I'm quite harmless, really. And when people ask, but aren't you linked to dangerous flu complications like pneumonia, heart attack, and hospitalizations? I just say, but I'm just the flu.
It's him.
Who? I'm just the flu.
Demand more from your flu shot. Sanofi higher dose flu vaccines are proven to provide better flu protection than standard dose flu shots in older adults. They've even been shown to better protect against flu-related complications.
Don't get Fluzone high dose if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its components, including egg products, or after previous dose of flu vaccine. Don't get Flublok if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its components. Tell your healthcare professional if you've had severe muscle weakness after a flu shot. Fainting has occurred. People with weakened immune systems may have a lower vaccine response.
All flu shots are not the same. Ask for a Sanofi higher dose flu vaccine. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about Fluzone high dose or Flublok.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
When I was 5, I began getting sexually abused by my stepfather, and he got me pregnant when I was 12. "64,000 pregnancies from rape have occurred in states with total abortion bans. And Trump did this. Women and girls need to have choices. With Kamala Harris, we do."
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
And here's another live look at Vice President Kamala Harris in lacrosse at UWL, her 6th visit since becoming the presidential nominee for the Democrats.
She took the stage right as we began live at 4. Our crew is on the ground there now. After Harris finishes up her speech, we'll check back in with political reporter Will Keneally. He'll give us a recap of what she said. Tonight, the state of Texas will kill a man found guilty for the death of his daughter in 2002, despite growing concerns he's innocent. In 2002, Robertson took his toddler to the ER. He said she was sick and fell off the bed while sleeping. She died, and doctors diagnosed her with abuse or shaken baby syndrome. At the time, Robertson hadn't yet been diagnosed with autism, something his lawyer says contributed to his, quote, suspicious demeanor. Tonight's execution would make Robertson the first person in the U.S. to be put to death for a murder linked to shaken baby syndrome.
A long-awaited report is out about the July 13th assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. In it, a bipartisan panel of former Homeland Security officials say the Secret Service needs fundamental reform. They warn without changes, another Butler can happen. The panel says agents operated under the assumption they had to do more with less, and cited a troubling lack of thinking by personnel both before, on, and after July 13th. They say the failure of July 13th likely would have occurred regardless of budget levels.
The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission has new standards out to reduce the risk of infant deaths and injuries related to certain products. The new rules require products to undergo firmness testing, sidewall angel testing, the maximum incline angle won't be able to exceed 10 degrees, and the use of infant restraint will be banned. And now, a, quote, strongly worded on-product warning label will be required. The new rule will go into effect in about 6 months.
A new study shows women are more likely than men to die from complications after a heart surgery. The University of Michigan found while the rates of complications following an operation are the same among men and women, women are 2% more likely to die from those complications. The authors say signs of heart attack and stroke are missed more often in women.
And the Department of Natural Resources is asking people to avoid burning due to the elevated fire risk across the state. The DNR says most of the danger is due to high winds and dry vegetation. All DNR issued annual burning permits for debris piles, burn barrels, and prescribed burns are suspended today in 25 counties. The entire state is experiencing some level of dryness. Most of Dane County is in a moderate drought. Parts of Rock, Grant, and most of Greene and Lafayette counties are in a severe drought.
Now, we've been dealing with dry conditions from summer to now. Let's get a look at your first warn forecast. Here's meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze?
That's right. Here's a current look at the latest drought conditions released today. Again, every week the cutoff is the Tuesday before, but it really doesn't matter in this week, especially because we've been so dry. As Maddie mentioned, here's the drought conditions across southern Wisconsin, but if you look at the entire state, we now continue to see severe drought conditions persist and expand not only across northeastern parts of Wisconsin, but across here in parts of southern Wisconsin. About a quarter of the state underneath those severe drought conditions, over 60% of the state underneath moderate drought conditions. We have been essentially dry since the end of August. However, up until that point, it has been one of Wisconsin's wettest years on record. So there is some good news, and it comes in short-term and long-term forecasts. The short-term is the rain chances returning starting Tuesday into next Wednesday. We're going to watch as a little bit of moisture comes out of the plains and moves its way into parts of the Great Lakes. Again, the further we go into fall and then into winter, there's just not as much moisture for us to really take out of the air. So this is not going to be a heavy rainmaker, but it may bring us just a couple hundredths to a couple tenths of an inch of rain, maybe a quarter of an inch of rain at best. A cold front moves through starting Wednesday morning and essentially pushes out any remaining moisture, maybe sparking a few showers. But once this passes, we then remain dry until that following weekend. So we have a couple chances for rain here in the 10-day forecast, Tuesday into Wednesday, and then again that upcoming weekend. But it's not a lot of rain, unfortunately. However, the Climate Prediction Center just released their winter outlook for 2024-2025. So this winter, December, January, and February. And it continues to bring, hopefully, some wetter than normal conditions to us here across southern Wisconsin and across the entire state. This is very La Nina looking, because that's what we are expecting, a weak La Nina to develop in the eastern Pacific, characterized by possibly cooler than normal winter across much of the plains in the Pacific Northwest. We've got an equal chance to trend either warmer than average or cooler than average. And we've broken down in the latest Beyond the Barometer what strong and weak La Nina events have brought to southern Wisconsin and the state. So I encourage you to go read that, because no two La Ninas are the same, much like no two storms are the same. Weak La Ninas, our temperature trends tend to be somewhat neutral, close to normal, and that is the same for strong La Nina events as well. And again, we're expecting this latest La Nina to be on the weaker side. In terms of snow totals, we actually see more snow during both weak and strong La Nina events. So we'll just have to see how this one plays out. Hopefully we can get some moisture back into the ground before we go into next spring, or else it may be a slightly more difficult growing season for our area farmers, to say the least. Friday, we are expecting plenty of sunshine, a little bit more breezy further to the west. And again, with these strong winds and the fact that they're out of the south and we're dry, again, try to stay away from doing any sort of burning as we continue to remain dry through at least Tuesday of your upcoming work week. And then we may see some showers and a few thunderstorms by that following weekend.
Blaze, thank you. A new study from finance firm LendingTree says a third of common household products have shrunk in size. That's a practice known as shrinkflation. It's when companies scale back the size of a product but charge the same amount as the prior larger portion. The analysis showed household paper products had the highest rate of shrinkflation, followed by breakfast foods like dry cereals, and then candy and snack foods. In its most recent earnings call, food and beverage giant PepsiCo says it plans to add 20% more product to its chip brands.
Despite inflation, Americans are still opening their wallets. Fresh government data shows spending at U.S. retailers climbed 0.4% last month from the prior month. The largest increase was seen at specialty stores, clothing stores, and at health and personal care shops. Sales at bars and restaurants also rose 1% last month. Meanwhile, sales of electronics and appliances plunged 3% from August. Consumer spending makes up about 70% of the economy. Retail sales are a sizable chunk of that.
And economists are surprised with new data that shows less people applied for unemployment benefits last week. First-time applications for those benefits decreased by 19,000, coming in at a total of 241,000. That's even accounting for the effects of Hurricanes Milton and Helene. Economists expected those claims to be much higher. Meanwhile, continuing claims, or those who have been filing for unemployment benefits for at least 2 weeks, rose by 9,000, now sitting at 1.9 million.
A reflection of the economy's strength, mortgage rates are continuing to increase. Freddie Mac says the average rate on a 30-year mortgage is higher again this week. The rate rose to 6.44%, the highest level in 8 weeks. This marks the third straight week mortgage rates have spiked. Still, compared to a year ago, rates are more than 1% lower. Meanwhile, the 15-year mortgage rate is up 0.22%, coming in at 5.63.
And a new rule will make it easier for you to cancel your unwanted memberships. The Federal Trade Commission is unveiling its new click to cancel rule. It requires businesses to provide a way for consumers to cancel their subscriptions just as easy as it is to sign up. That includes everything from gym memberships to digital streaming subscriptions. The rule won't take effect until 180 days after it's published in the Federal Registry.
Well, no need to call the Ghostbusters, but a tour guide could come in handy.
Next on the 608, Josh Sprider is highlighting a new business, Mad City Ghost Walks.
Hi, my name is Damian Clark. If you have both Medicare and Medicaid, I have some really encouraging news that you'll definitely want to hear. Depending on the plans available in your area, you may be eligible to get extra benefits with the Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. Most plans include the Humana Healthy Options Allowance, a monthly allowance to help pay for eligible groceries, utilities, rent, and over-the-counter items. The Healthy Options Allowance is loaded onto a prepaid card each month, and whatever you don't spend carries over from each month. Plus, your doctor, hospital, and pharmacy may already be part of our large Humana networks. So call the number on your screen now and ask about a Humana Medicare Advantage Dual Eligible Special Needs Plan. And remember, annual enrollment ends on December 7th. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
The kindness, the efficiency, the respect was amazing.
From start to finish, they will take care of you.
Everybody is just so kind and everybody's so cheerful. I just never worked with a company where everybody seems to get along and they're all happy to be working for Cardinal.
Cardinal is the place to go for any type of work that you need done around your home.
I never hesitate with family, friends, neighbors to recommend Cardinal, and nobody has come back to me and said I was wrong.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
Without American manufacturing. Under Donald Trump, America lost nearly 200,000 manufacturing jobs. His record is a disaster for working people. Under my plan, we will invest in the industries that built America, because ours is a fight for the future. I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
In the 608, we're in the thick of spooky season.
You have to bounce when you say it.
What?
Spooky season.
Okay, and I've had enough of your jokes today. Okay. A new business venture called Mad City Ghost Walks is bringing you tours of Madison.
Josh Sprider met up with them bright and early this morning in downtown.
It is dark, it is early, but we are here for a good reason along Wisconsin Avenue because we're talking about Mad City Ghost Walks, and now is your time to check it out. I have KJ and Scott joining us here on News 3 Now. Scott, I want to start with you because this was really an inspiration for you. Where did this all come from?
I've always enjoyed doing tours like this whenever I travel, and I thought, you know, Madison's kind of lacking this. We're starting to get a lot more tourism in the area, plus just the Madison residents. There's so many great stories out there, and it's a great thing to do. It's a great date night to come out and walk around, hear some spooky stories, get a little history of Madison. It's really a lot of fun if you can come out and make it.
So tell us the significance of where we're starting this tour and why we're right here right now.
The Wisconsin Masonic Center has been here for over 100 years, and the history here is just insane. So it's great to be able to use the steps to start out with. It's a great meeting place. It's got plenty of parking. It's easy for people to get to that are traveling. And from here, it's just an easy walk to start our tour.
So, KJ, you're one of the tour guides. You're also a paranormal investigator. What does that mean?
That means I bring a unique perspective to my ghost walks. I'm not just memorizing a script. Like, I live and breathe the paranormal. I'm a writer, I'm a researcher. I'm giving a presentation this weekend about the paranormal. So this is just a fun opportunity to just put it all together and tell some stories and have some fun.
And there are no shortage of stories here in the Madison area, I'm guessing.
No, not at all. And we're just doing a fraction of the city right now to start. And there's just so many good stories. And I'm just excited to start with Mad City Ghost Walks and continue on.
So what is something that you tell folks right here at the Masonic Center? Anything?
Oh, we have a few ghosts that walk around that linger in the Masonic Center. One of them is a whistling ghost. And the next stop on the tour is the Edgewater Hotel, which any of the rich and famous or the national touring bands that are coming through Madison stay at the Edgewater. There are a number of famous old celebrities that have stayed here too, and a number of ghosts that still walk the halls. We also talk about some buildings in this area that are no longer here, but still have some spooky tales within. And then we walk up Fraternity Row. I have a number of stories up here as well. Everything from true crime to UFOs to lake monsters on Lake Mendota. Nothing is off limits.
What? Lake monsters?
There might be a lake monster. Hasn't been seen in a while, but who knows? Maybe she'll make an appearance. Yes, I like to say she's a she.
I love that. All right, so this is something folks need to check out, and there's still plenty of time for them to do that this season. Scott, what do they need to know?
MadCityGhostWalks.com. There's tour dates there. KJ's doing the rest of the tours. I think we got, what, half a dozen dates or maybe a little more. We'll be running through Halloween, obviously, so come out and check it out, MadCityGhostWalks.com.
And, of course, this is new, so you guys hope to keep this going in the future.
You bet. Yeah, we hope to do a lot more next year with some architectural tours, historical stuff, that kind of thing. It should be a lot of fun.
Awesome. We'll have more details up on channel3000.com, so you can come check out Mad City Ghost Walks for yourself. In Madison, I'm Josh Spreiter, News 3 Now.
Thanks, Josh. Are you into the scary Halloween stuff?
I am, yes. Are you?
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, yeah. But I would
Braden
do the
is
ghost
not.
walk. She doesn't like that?
She doesn't. I was trying to get her to do like Fright Fest with
Yeah.
me, and she really doesn't want to.
We'll talk her into it.
We'll try.
Well, our Coats for Kids drive is all wrapped up. If you missed out on the opportunity to donate, you can actually still help.
We are looking for volunteers for this year's distribution next Friday, October 25th. It's from 9 in the morning to 6 at night. We'll have stations at the Allied Family Center, the Erica and Anthony Fleming Boys and Girls Club, and the Mackenzie Family Boys and Girls Club. To sign up, head to this story on channel3000.com. There you'll find a link to email the volunteer coordinator. We want to thank everyone who donated. We hope to see you next week.
Thank you, everyone. Well, still ahead, we'll check back in with Will Keneally live at the Vice President Kamala Harris rally in La Crosse.
And what organizers are doing to get out the Latino vote when we come back.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Get an 11% rebate on everything at Menards. Insulate your home and keep the cold air out with Owens Corning Pink Foamular Insulation Panels. These panels are available in many different sizes to fit any project. Get this pre-cut panel today for $9.99 after rebate. Loctite Power Grab heavy-duty adhesive is high strength, paintable, and is easy to use with 0-second instant grab. A 9-ounce tube is $2.99 after 11% rebate.
Save big money at Menards.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Join us at the Madison Fall Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Don't miss your chance to visit the area's top newly constructed homes filled with the latest trends and technology. Go to MadisonFallParadeOfHomes.com and purchase your tickets today.
My late father-in-law lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had AMD. I didn't know it then, but it can progress to GA, an advanced form of the disease. His struggle with vision loss from AMD made me want to help you see warning signs of GA, like hazy or blurred vision, so it's hard to see fine details. Colors that appear dull or washed out. Or trouble with low light. That makes driving at night a real challenge. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to gawon'twait.com.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
No, it's a beautiful day outside.
It is a beautiful day outside and a pleasant weekend ahead. That's always good to hear.
Something to look forward to, Blaze.
That is right. We are expecting temperatures to maybe get back into those low 80s by Sunday. We're back into the 70s, possibly as early as tomorrow, but we will for sure be there on your Saturday. Winds are going to be out of the south, so throughout the next couple of days especially, you may want to hold off on any burning because we got southerly winds that are breezy. We got sunny conditions. We have low humidity, and unfortunately, our drought conditions continue to worsen. So all the makings to possibly take any sort of flame and really run with it. So let's hold off on any burning this weekend and just enjoy the nice conditions. Weather in your neighborhood across southern Wisconsin. In Yuba, it's 64. In Pequawki, 64 as well. Boaz, 68. We're almost near 70 in Fenimore. We're a comfortable 64 in Madison and across Dane County. Another pleasant evening, and that is going to make for another night to see that rare comet. Again, look to the southwest, find Venus. I would say if this is Venus, you're going to want to look. I have it reversed. If this is Venus, you want to look up in this direction, and you should be able to see very faintly that comet that we won't see again for another 80,000 years. We're into the 30s and 40s tonight. We're tracking out a small rain chance on Tuesday in the full forecast.
Thank you, Blaze. Well, Vice President Kamala Harris just wrapped up her speech in La Crosse.
She did, and I believe our Will Keneally is joining us now from that visit in La Crosse. Will, what can you tell us about what she had to say?
Yeah, Maddie and Brady, Vice President Kamala Harris just wrapped up literally minutes ago here on UW La Crosse's campus. It's been a busy day for the Vice President. She stopped earlier in Milwaukee at the UW Milwaukee campus, here, of course, in La Crosse, and then she's heading to Green Bay today for a third Wisconsin stop here. Wisconsin is important, if you couldn't guess, just from the number of stops that she's been providing. Earlier in the week, we also saw Dr. Jill Biden, the First Lady here in Wisconsin. Democrats are certainly taking the state seriously, as this is an incredibly close race between VP Harris and former President Donald Trump. She underscored that in her remarks today. Take a listen.
And this is going to be a tight race until the very end. And we got this. And reality check, we are the underdog, okay? And that's why I'm here with you, and you are taking the time to do the hard work that is necessary. It's why I'm campaigning for every vote, because I want and intend to be a president for all Americans.
So, again, a busy day for VP Harris here. Also, speaking before her was Mark Cuban, notable businessman, talking a lot about small businesses and the economic message of Democrats here. Also, a lot of talk about Project 2025 and what would be different from a Trump presidency and a Harris presidency. We'll have more with this coming up tonight at 5. But for now, reporting from La Crosse, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Will. Continuing our 3 for the People coverage, registered Latino voters have grown at the second fastest rate of any major racial and ethnic group in the country.
That includes hundreds of thousands here in Wisconsin. Today, several community groups met to mobilize these voters in the final stretch before Election Day. Arman Rahman has more. Arman.
Maddie and Brady, the national organization, the Hispanic Federation, awarded $100,000 in grants to Forward Latino, Voces de la Frontera, and Centro Hispano Dane County for civic engagement because they say this Latino population will be a deciding one this election. There are roughly 180,000 registered Latino voters in Wisconsin. Voces de la Frontera leaders say they built up a network of 28,000 voters and helped newly register about 3,000 to 4,000 across Green Bay, Dane County, Sparta, and Arcadia this election cycle.
The power, I think, is in, one, the numbers. You know, the population has been increasing in the last decade. But two, also, there's a lot of workers who are working in the dairy farms, who are working across the state to maintain this economy.
Velasquez says many of those people he's spoken with have found belonging here in Wisconsin, but are still waiting for candidates to connect with them directly. But groups say right now the Latino population's stances on issues are too generalized because they're not being connected to appropriately. Tonight at 6, find out how a new poll from the Hispanic Federation aims to go deeper into what the community feels about the issues.
Armand, thank you. We now know the name of the officer who shot and killed a man in Fitchburg this summer.
The DOJ has identified Sergeant Peter Johnston as the officer who shot and killed Kevin D. Price. Johnston has been a member of the Fitchburg Police Department for more than 14 years and has been a member of the Special Response Team and Field Training Unit for the past 7 years. The deadly shooting happened on August 12th on Whispering Pines Way in Fitchburg. Officers responded to the area after someone reported a fight.
A witness directed them to a home. Police say they knocked several times before going inside. Upon entering, officers found 28-year-old Kevin Price with a knife. They say he refused to drop the weapon and charged at them. That's when Johnston shot him. Price ended up dying in the hospital 3 days later. Johnston remains on administrative assignment pending further investigation into the shooting.
The Dow ends at another record high as stronger than expected monthly retail sales reflect an improving economy. The Dow gained 161 points. The Nasdaq was up 6, while the S&P was off 1.
1 in 10 individuals in Wisconsin faces food insecurity. That's more than 600,000 people. But Second Harvest Food Bank here in Dane County is working to combat that.
Ellie La Liberté shows us how the organization is trying to keep up with demand while facing struggles of its own.
Second Harvest serves 16 counties through southwestern Wisconsin and works with over 300 partner agencies to fight hunger in our state. But the need for food resources is continuing to rise. Last year, the organization distributed $27 million worth of food. That's 20% more than the year before. Second Harvest says it can stretch a $10 donation to get $24 worth of groceries. But the food bank spokesperson says they still need more money.
Certainly the biggest limitation is our funding. You know, if we had unlimited funding, we could probably put out just about unlimited food, but that simply doesn't exist.
Some ways you can help Second Harvest's mission are by volunteering or donating. You can find more information on both of those at secondharvestsw.org. And tonight at 6, hear directly from volunteers about the impact they want to make.
Ellie, thank you. Well, one wants to make it big in horror and the other wants to do some shrinking.
Those are just a couple of clues of what to stream this weekend. Will Loper has a look in the Loper Report.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Nobody wants to think about cold weather, but now's the time to winterproof your home. Is your house cold every winter? Your home needs foam. Are your heating costs too high? Your home needs foam. Do you have different temperatures in different rooms? Your home needs foam. USA Premium Foam is over 35% more efficient than ordinary, weaker insulation. Winterproof now and get 0% financing for 72 months.
USA Insulation.
Happy anniversary! Join us for our anniversary sale.
And help us celebrate.
We're having our biggest sale of the year with savings throughout the showroom.
Where you can save big.
And you can save big.
You can save big. You can save big. On quality home furnishings throughout the showroom.
Join us for our anniversary sale.
Wanakee Furniture ETC. Bringing quality homes since 1996.
If you're about to replace your roof, stop.
There's a solution about 80% less expensive. 9 out of 10 roofs can be saved by RoofMax. Guaranteed to extend the life of your current roof by 5 to 15 years at a fraction of the cost of a new roof. RoofMax's deep penetrating power restores flexibility and water protection. Nobody wants to replace their roof. Restore it instead with RoofMax for 80% less. Call now for a free roof inspection.
With Chevy trucks, be ready for adventure. With power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere.
Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2024 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or get $5,750 total value on this Silverado.
See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
New at 5, Vice President Kamala Harris rallies here in La Crosse with businessman Mark Cuban. We'll have more on their economic message to voters.
While the dry conditions continue on here across southern Wisconsin, there is some rain in the forecast. We're going to track out when we may first see those raindrops fall in your forecast at 5. And coming up, 1 in 10 people in Wisconsin are facing food insecurity. Tonight at 6, we'll show you how food banks are working to meet the growing demand while facing their own challenges.
Well, streamers have the 3 H's: horror, horses, and Harrison Ford, that is.
Will Loper has a look at 3 new options to stream this weekend in the Loper Report.
Time for the showdown, baby.
This is Baltimore. You're gonna like it. I promise. Doesn't seem to like it here.
Feel inspired with Beyond Black Beauty, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Do you think she'll find peace here? The horse or the kid?
A young equestrian is upset after her mother moves her across the world, but a horse might just change all that.
Difficult for no reason. Both of you.
We're a family, Joe. That part doesn't change. And family uplifts one another.
Name 5 celebrities who got their start in horror movies.
Jamie Lee Curtis, John Travolta, Demi Moore, Brooke Shields, and
Maxine.
Watch a horror mystery with Maxine, newly streaming on Max.
The Night Stalker.
Night Stalker.
Night Stalker. Terrorizing Los Angeles.
Mia Goth plays an actress targeted by a potential serial killer.
I knew 3 people who were murdered in 3 days. I'd be pretty scared. What are you hiding, Maxine?
I think that Alice is worried about me.
It's rough to realize your kid knows how fragile you are.
Paul, do not do that. How are you so strong? I'm not fragile.
And for something lighter, stream the 2nd season of Shrinking, new on Apple TV+.
It's not your patient's job to heal you.
I can't stop thinking he's gonna go back to the way he was after Mom died.
If you don't truly deal with your past, it's gonna come back for you.
Jason Segel and Harrison Ford return in the show about a grieving therapist learning to live again.
You okay? You have a bad dream?
That's how I clear my throat. Ah! There we go.
For Live at 4, I'm Will Loper.
Well, still ahead with winter on the way, darker skies are on the horizon, and for some people, that's reflected in their mood.
Dr. Zorba Pastor is here to talk about seasonal affective disorder, the symptoms, and how to treat them when Live at 4 returns.
Emmy?
What?
Don't get confused. Stay on the path.
I am already confused.
Welcome into your Midwest Money Minute. You all know Mr. Matt Copeland. You know, we try to think of creative ways we can tie in some fun entertainment with some real life education on finances, right? That's why we're here at Schuster's Farm out in Deerfield, because navigating a corn maze and navigating your finances are really a lot alike. In what ways?
Well, imagine when you go in, you don't know where you're headed to, right? And so if you could see the maze from the top, you'd know exactly how to get through safely the other side. But retirement's the same way. You don't know where it's gonna go, where a dead end may pop up, but our job as financial planners is to more or less make that map for you, to guide you through, get you to the other side, get you around those obstacles. So I guess in that regard, it's kind of similar.
And it's also not a quick thing. You don't expect to go in here and be out of this maze in 10 minutes. Getting a financial planner and really taking your finances serious, it doesn't happen overnight.
No, it's a process, and it should be enjoyable, which is what this should be as well. But the fact is, it's a lot more enjoyable if at the end you know that there's a way through. If you do get lost, you can find your way out. From year to year, it changes, just like out here, right? So that's where we come in and we keep that plan intact and guide you through.
I love it. So what do you say we go try it out?
Yeah.
And if we don't make it out, we yell for Nate, and he's gonna come find us. What do you think?
That's why we got a cameraman.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we bring him along. I think we're close. Yes, this is it.
Hey, well, and if you need help navigating your financial maze,
call Matt and his team at Midwest Financial Group. They'll get you out of any corn stalk. I'm Emmy Fink.
You're buzzed into Madison.
You can get them out of corn stalks, right?
We'll try.
I'm working harder than ever just to pay the bills and provide for my family. But here's what Kamala Harris thought my money should go to instead. Job training for illegal immigrants even after they commit crimes in America. Hotel rooms for illegal immigrants while our vets sleep on the street. Sex changes for illegal immigrants out of my pocket. Seriously, have these people lost their mind? Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Under Kamala, there's been a big hike in Medicare premiums. Social Security benefits don't go far with Kamala's inflation slamming seniors. Now Kamala wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes, while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That will doom Medicare. President Trump will make sure no one cuts Medicare or Social Security. Trump lowered Medicare premiums, and he'll end the tax on Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Pretty sky.
That is a pretty sky. Look at those clouds.
Yeah.
It's like purple almost.
Very kind of spooky.
Huh? A little bit. Do you bounce now?
I have bounced.
Spooky.
Just a little bit. 75 degrees there, and it says that it is windy.
Not ideal.
Not ideal.
But that's all right. Well, speaking of not ideal, you may have noticed we're losing daylight, and maybe that's a dark spot on your mental health.
Yeah, it's that time of year. Seasonal affective disorder is a type of depression, and it can interfere with your day-to-day life. Dr. Zorba Pastor is here to talk about symptoms, and there is a type of treatment that can be pretty handy.
Yes. So how do you feel when the nights get longer and the days get shorter?
I don't like it.
Terrible.
Right. That's right. You lose your energy. So there are the winter blues and the blahs, and then for some people it's significant depression. And what happens is right around the time of September 22nd, that's when the days really start to get shorter and shorter. And now we really notice the difference. And then November hits, Halloween, all of a sudden daylight savings time changes, and blank, we're in the dark all the time. So one of the answers is an SAD light, seasonal affective disorder light. You can buy them in stores, online. They're about $30. They're not that expensive, but there's several important things you should look for. Number one, is there enough light? 10,000 lux, L-U-X, that's how you measure it.
Okay.
Is there enough? Number two, does it have a timer on it? You want to have a timer on it? Because you should do it for about 20 to 30 minutes in the morning, because in the evening it'll sort of wake you up, which is not good. And number three, do you have a place to put it? So comfortably, you put it about an arm length away on the side. You can be looking at your phone, looking at your computer for 20, 30 minutes. You don't have to look directly into the light. And yeah, it does work.
Yeah, because seasonal affective disorder can trigger a lot of stuff. So can this reduce some of that sadness, some of that anxiety?
Reduce the sadness, reduce the anxiety, often gives you more energy. And even if you don't have depression, it can make a difference. Now, for some people, they're on antidepressants during the winter months. So I had patients of mine who go on it around the middle of September, beginning of October, and then once the days start to get longer, they go off of them. But for a lot of people, the SAD lights are the way to do things.
And I was asking you earlier, do they work? And you said yes, they really do.
They definitely work. Now, there are a number of alarm clocks that are not SAD, but they give you a morning where you can get up and the light can get brighter, brighter, and brighter. Those are good when you're waking up in the middle of the darkness, you know, because it's so dark, but they're no substitution for the SAD light.
You mentioned what to look for and where you can buy them. Have people ever tried to build their own?
Yes, yes. And one of those people was me.
Okay.
So years ago, I would be fluorescent lights. They'd be in a box this big. And in today's dollars, it would cost about $150, $200 to actually build. And they would be 4 fluorescent lights, which also worked, but it was more expensive, took more energy, and cost more, obviously.
Yeah. And speaking of those symptoms of seasonal affective disorder, when should you really reach out for help?
If you really get depressed and you think it's really bad, that's really when you reach out for help. And and that's where an antidepressant can help, talk therapy, of course exercise, of course getting out in Mother Nature, but that's when you should reach out for help when you think it's bad, or your neighbor or your friend or your loved one says, I think you need some help. That's when you need extra help.
So if you can get outside a little earlier in the day to soak up what light you
Absolutely,
can. Yeah.
absolutely. But this is hard also, especially for shift workers who go at night, come back and have to sleep during the daytime. But the answer is yes, getting out really does make a difference.
A little bit helps.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Blaze, do we have some sunshine in our future?
Please say yes.
We have plenty of sunshine in the future as we continue to remain dry here across not only Wisconsin and southern Wisconsin, but across a lot, actually, of the United States. The latest drought monitor showing 100% of Wisconsin suffering from at least abnormally dry conditions, 64% underneath moderate dry conditions, and that does include a majority of our coverage area here across southern Wisconsin. And we're beginning to see severe drought conditions popping up along the state line, stretching from Grant County all the way back into parts of Rock County. We also continue to see this area expand across northeastern parts of Wisconsin, so nearly a quarter of the state suffering from severe drought conditions, moderate drought conditions up to 64%. So where is the rain? Well, we have to look to about Tuesday. That's when we'll see our next and really first chance for rain coming out of the plains, moving its way back north and eastward into the Great Lakes. As we continue to make our way through fall, the available moisture just continues to become less and less. So it's not going to be a heavy washout rain event, but maybe a couple tenths of an inch to a quarter of an inch at best. This cold front expected to move through sometime Wednesday morning is going to push any available moisture out, dry us out as we head into the second half of your upcoming work week. But by that following weekend, we may see the return of showers and even a few thunderstorms. So with the continuation of the dry conditions, not to mention the southerly winds we're expecting this weekend, on top of the sunny conditions, you may just want to hold off on any burning as we go over the next couple of days. But here's a look at our estimated rainfall over the time period of the 18th through the 24th. But there is some good news, but we maybe have to go into the winter months to see it, which is a possibly wetter than normal winter for us here across Wisconsin and across the Great Lakes. This is the Climate Prediction Center Winter 2024-2025 Outlook released today, and it's very La Nina inspired because we are anticipating a weaker La Nina to develop across the eastern Pacific. So this is not shocking to me as we continue to kind of remain in the middle ground of either trending cooler than or slightly warmer than average. We have broken down in the latest Beyond the Barometer what southern Wisconsin has experienced in past weak La Ninas, like what we're expecting this coming up winter, to the strong La Nina event. So I encourage you to read that and kind of see how Wisconsin tends to trend, because no two La Ninas are the same, strong or weak, but they do have very broad, similar characteristics. No rain in the forecast for your Friday. Plenty of sunshine and breezy conditions, especially farther to the west. And this evening, again, we only have a few days left to see that rare comet. I would say starting between 6:50 and 7:30 is your best time to look. Find Venus and look just off to the north, or above it and to the right. You should see that rare comet there. The 10-day forecast, pretty quiet Tuesday and Wednesday, or excuse me, Monday and Tuesday is when we could see our first chance for rain, but we could see the return of showers by that following weekend.
After careful review of medical guidance and research on pain relief, my recommendation is simple. Every home should have Salon Paws. Powerful, yet non-addictive. Targeted and long-lasting. I recommend Salon Paws. It's good medicine.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Peter Barca dishonored our service and America's commitment to veterans.
And Congress, Barca voted to cut our benefits, impacting our lives, our families. It's just wrong.
It's just wrong.
Veterans can't trust career politicians like Peter Barca, and neither can you.
Brian Stile will always work to protect veterans like me.
Brian is not a career politician, he's a fighter.
and he's always working for us.
I'm Brian Stile, and I approve this message.
These Baldwin ads are nasty.
I can't stand them.
She never tells the truth. Now she says Eric Hovde wants to raise the retirement age.
That's malarkey.
I saw in the news Social Security will be going bankrupt in 8 years.
Are you kidding? We need Social Security.
You're surprised? Washington spends money like crazy.
And Baldwin supports all of it.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message.
You better get a job.
You get a job.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
Take a look at this, the best of the best from Nikon's 50th Small World Photo Competition. Microscopic images featuring fantastic discoveries showcasing the smallest details.
This year's winning minuscule photo could have major scientific ramifications. You are about to look at, I believe, differentiated mouse brain tumor cells, showcasing 3 separate parts of the cell structure. There it is. They say these cells could be used to study how disruptions could lead to the neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's and ALS.
Wow, that's really something.
That really
Science is amazing. We'll be right back.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
A flood of illegals, skyrocketing prices, global chaos, and Kamala wouldn't change a thing.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Nothing will change with Kamala. More weakness, more war, more welfare for illegals, and even more taxes. Only President Trump cut middle-class taxes, and only President Trump will do it again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Meet Sarah Kieski. You might see her walking around in her Woke Genius t-shirt. Radical, just like the groups that support her. Kieski supporters want to defund the police. Her allies want to give voting rights to illegals and make it easier for felons to vote. And Kieski is backed by a group that wants to let criminals out early. Want to know where Sarah Kieski stands? Just look at the company she keeps.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
The right to vote is the foundation of democracy. For decades, we have been forced to fight voter suppression to increase voter turnout in the black community, while overcoming barriers designed to undermine voter participation. The NAACP of Wisconsin believes your vote matters, and we urge you to double-check your voter information at myvotewisconsin.gov. In-person absentee voting begins Tuesday, October 22nd. Now let's be all in to vote on November